approaches to nature-based solutions for cities, using 3 examples that are currently taking place in the city of Madrid, and the relationship with some European projects, as it is the Adaptive Cities through Nature-Based Solutions, which was presented yesterday. I think some of you will have the chance to listen to some of our colleagues there. As you know, Madrid is one of the cities in Europe which is suffering from the effects of urban heat island as a result of the gradual replacement of natural surface by pavement, and as a result absorbing more solar radiation. So a number of efforts are made by the municipality currently to palliate this effect using different nature-based solution strategies, highlighting the importance of nature and green urban infrastructure as a way to protect the city from thermal fluctuations and extreme weather. This report, which is part of the Madrid Plus Natural, which was published by Arup, the consultancy, suggests that greening of existing infrastructures like transport links, empty spaces, or obsolete infrastructures are an effective way to provide natural habitats for wildlife and spaces for human enjoyment. This is actually nothing new. The city of Madrid has a tradition of, it can be a little bit controversial with the image that one can have of Madrid being one of these cities at the south of Europe, but it is actually more than 5 million trees. It's a figure that makes it the 4th most wooded city in the world after London, Atlanta, and Toronto, which occupies the 1st position with 10 million of specimens. And the green spaces have been part of the traces of the city, even in the outskirts, but also in the city center. Some of them in form of gardens and parks, and some of them as bigger infrastructures as rivers and other corridors, green corridors. You can see here the comparison between 2 flights, aerial views from the same space in the city, in which you can more or less recognize the green, the trace of the green spaces occurring and transversing the city. So the strategy will try to detect these pre-existing green corridors and pathways and kind of intensify their presence and their contribution to thermal resiliency. Madrid Platform Cities, which is a platform that was created in 2018 with the purpose of contributing to this adaptation to climate change, is a result of a mutual collaboration between the Madrid City Council, the university, the UPM University, some actors, as it is the case of Matadero Art Center. We will have later on Amanda Masha, which is the curator of the Mutant Institute of Environmental Narratives, working there as well. And as a result of this collaboration, we have this 3-step strategy, which is fostering, as I said, this triptych on different problematics of the city: adaptation, naturation strategies, mobility, and regulatory sandbox, and which are covered through a number of pilot studies. This is more or less the scheme on your left hand of how this network works, being the UPN a connecting tissue for provoking, assessing, and sustaining collaboration in time among Madrid City, which is up there on the right, and a number of agents, as it is the case of Matadero, but also local stakeholders, neighborhood associations, citizens, and MBS businesses. And also using an approach of strategies that can be replicated and scale up in different projects. So I'm going to present very briefly, because Amanda will also deepen a little bit more in one of the pilots that I will be presenting today. In these 3 examples that are somehow covering the nature-based solutions in different scales. One is the cyber garden. The other would be the middle scale of the pathways connecting 2 existing parks in a district of the south of the city, and then the recently launched project of the Metropolitan Forest, which will be the biggest scale. In this particular one, I will focus on the importance of making special attention to the problem scoping. So the actual attention should be paid on the actual constructing and collectively discussing the scope of the problem, as it has been the case of Matadero Cyber Garden. Matadero is a site with vast spaces without vegetation in the south of the city and is in the middle of a heat island. So it was decided that it will function as a testing ground for the testing of replicable prototypes in other spaces of the city, to seek for novel strategies in terms of watering, cleaning, maintenance, but also new adaptation strategies and new narratives. Amanda will also explain this a little bit more. This is also part of a European project, which, as I said, was presented yesterday in the Basel Hub, which is the Adaptive Cities through Nature-Based Solutions, in which the University of Madrid is playing a role in describing co-creation strategies and collective intelligence for the purposes of nature-based solutions implementations. Here are some strategies of how this collective implication of, in this case, students from different schools of the city were curated, and the actual report we made out of these experiences. And well, the fruitful collaboration, as I said, among artists and scientists in the provocation of these prototypes for the figure of the garden, which has a tradition in the city, and how this initiative of the cyber garden is actually linked with a number of international and also European initiatives linking art and science, giving unexpected and very promising results. The second pilot is not that much concentrated on the problem scoping, but on the transformation strategy. So how to engage different stakeholders and how to make this collaboration fruitful also over time. And this is a figure in which you can see the existing urban layout of Usera. It's one of the neighborhoods that have been more affected by the COVID-19 and also with a number of urban issues that are trying to be fixed by these interventions. The principal aim is to create a green corridor between two of the most important parks in the city. You can see here on the right, Madrid Rio, and the south, Prado Longo. And this corridor will be running through one of the densest areas, which has fewer pedestrian and green spaces, because one of the topics that makes this project distinctive is that it concentrates on the effects of this heat island on social health using ecological and pedestrian continuity. The full process is being curated through participatory processes, which are complex but really worthy to contribute to the collective scoping of a problem, as I said, but also with the participation of a number of external agents, as you can see up there, a number of different departments inside the city hall, but also external entities as they are Tecnalia, ABIO UPM, which is a research group inside the university, GEA 21, which is a local association that is helping to talk to the neighborhood associations, and well, a number of actors that are contributing to the implementation of these solutions. This pilot in particular is also part of another European project, which is Clever Cities, in which Madrid is a follower, and is providing also a number of indicators represented here in form of a tree, which are exportable and drawn in terms of applicable guidelines for other proposals. The third and the last project, which is the scale-up of some of these principles into a bigger scale of the city, is a recently launched competition of a metropolitan forest. This project consists of a forest belt embracing the full city, well, especially the south part of the city, connecting existing green areas with native forest species, contributing to the ecological restoration of degraded areas and the environmental improvement of the built environment. The implementation of this project is planned through an international ideas contest. which we were sort of hacking from the university through a number of webinars and workshops. This is, well, again, the same diagrams in which you can understand more or less the sequence of this iterative process. And this was these workshops that were announced last July and that were occurring in September, trying to join the maximum number of practitioners and voices from different disciplines in order to make a collective design of the guidelines of the competition. And as a result of it, we drafted this illustrated guide. I have here a brief example, but you can make a broader consultant on the web, in which all these voices, all these parameters were constructed collectively, as I said, in order to provide with further guidance to the applicants to the competition. That's it on my side. I hope it more or less gave you an idea of what the different initiatives taking part of the city are looking like at different scales. And yeah, wishing you all the best for your climathon or for whatever your issues on this climate adaptation are. Thank you very much for your attention.
Hello, my name is Amanda Masha. I'm a curator, as Nieves said, working at Matadero, at the Center for Contemporary Creation, Matadero Madrid, particularly at the Newton Institute of Environmental Narratives, or IMNA as we call it, which is it's the laboratory, the artistic laboratory for climate action of Matadero. In fact, IMNA is articulated through the platform cities that Nieves mentioned, which is it's an initiative that started the Polytechnic University of Madrid and the Madrid City Council through its environmental area, and also Matadero itself. And the Newton Institute, to give you a little bit of context before getting into the presentation, is an initiative that started from the belief that today we need more initiatives to imagine collectively new scenarios, for dealing with the current environmental and health crisis and new forms of storytelling. So what we do is to promote different projects from art, fiction, collective intelligence strategies, science and technology that explain or talk about the climate emergency in different ways, these new sort of forms of storytelling. Apologies, because I see that the presentation is at the end, so you will see. Okay, so here we are. So the title of I've entitled the presentation Co-Species Landscapes, because today we were asked to speak about nature-based solutions and these case studies, these particular case studies that Nieves introduced. But for me, I thought it was a good opportunity as well to talk, yes, a little bit more in detail about the cyborg garden that Nieves introduced, but also to highlight the importance of the environmental narrative strategies, and how can they shape the design and urbanism principles that we and our approaches to NBS, the cultural shifts that NBS imply. So this is why this presentation is called Co-Species Landscapes, because what it seems important about the NBS to me is the contexts of possibility they offer to imagine scenarios where non-human actors have the agency to shape landscapes, So what I'm presenting today is rather than talking about just one case study, is meant as a collection of stories, of artistic narratives, a sort of flashlights that hopefully will resonate within you somehow. So the first thing, I wanted to start by asking you a question through the work of this artist, of Katie Patterson. and her work, The Sound Of, in which she proposes to think what is more impactful in terms of raising awareness on the melting of the glaciers, whether it is the data of the thickness of the melting ice, which is the typical information that is passed through scientists to press and to us, or is it the sound of the blocks of the glaciers falling, which is what the artist did in her work, no? This different way of appraising, or this different way of formulating questions and on the environmental crisis is what journalist Eliane Broom did last year when she published an article on the destruction of the Amazon forest, saying what you see here in the screen. She says, for us to be capable of resisting, we must become the forest and resist like the forest. We must lend shape at this political affective feeling, and this for me is important, but this political affective feeling, in order to lend meaning to our actions. This means shifting a few tectonic plates in our own thinking. So some months later, the architect and artist Paulo de Soto proposed the action Resist as Forest at a Dresden Park in Trondheim, in Norway, in which he connected part of the artistic and academic scene of the city with the Amazonian devastation, gathering these affective communities of support to collectively imagine ways of resistance. No? The last example, or the last narrative I want to talk about before getting into the case study is this that you see in the screens, Parliament of Plants, which is a work by French artist Céline Baumann, and whose work you may be a little bit more familiar with because she's based in Basel. We present last year at Matadero in an exhibition called 12 Cautionary Urban Tales. And in this work, she starts by asking what would happen if plants were ruling our institutions instead of humans, no? So nature in this work, it's granted its own representative body. She challenges the dissociation between intelligence and the botanical world, and explores the potential of the botanical world to provide alternative ways to design and act. No? So what these works point towards is that the current planetary challenges require the practices of empathy and also thinking beyond disciplines and the human species traditional ecological strategies. So that's we at IMNA we work from this belief and from the advocacy for a pact of justice and coexistence between species, and which we believe is that this advocacy can be more impactful when it's articulated through art, no? And that is why, well, when we started the Cyber Garden in Matadero in 2018, the aim was to collectively formulate a climate change adaptation strategy to transform Matadero. That, as Nieves said, it's well, Madrid is in this urban heat island, no? So the idea was to look for adaptation strategies and transform Matadero into a desirable space. But the idea was to do it collectively and through a collaborative process led by artists. So the Cyber Garden started as a garden to trail forms of coexistence between humans and non-humans. And we proposed it as a place as well to study and to imagine the relationships between nature and technology as hybrid species, no? But also as a place for storytelling and to rethink the role of public space in relation to the climate change, no? So as I say, at the beginning of 2018, we started this process, this co-creation process led by artists, but that included public servants, architects, and many others. And towards February 2019, there was, we created a space of contrast with students from architecture schools of Madrid to start the prototyping process of this cyborg garden. And the prototypes were shown afterwards at the exhibition Eco-Visionaries, also at Matadero. No? For us, it was important that, well, Matadero in this process became a laboratory for testing nature-based solutions, but most importantly, for testing new environmental narratives. No? Among the many artists that we work with UH 513, the collective that you've seen in the last 3 slides, who create this kind of cyborg prototypes and virtual reality works that invite us to expand our sensory capacities and interact with the plants in the garden. The interesting thing about this and other works in the garden is that rather than considering NBS in solutionist terms, they point to the need to prioritize the logics of care. All these from hybrid devices such as these ones that you see, no? Where technology, aesthetics, and a sense of humor are combined to appeal to empathy, as I say. So this initiative, in a way, they don't propose the deployment of nature-based solutions, understanding nature as something other and external to the human being, but rather they envision NBS as denser and more heterogeneous context for the design of our cities, no? Where mutualistic models have the potential to making healthier cities. Along the same lines, we have also proposed more purely speculative, let's say, and fiction projects. For instance, we are working with artist and architect Liam Young, for whom our perception of the world is largely conditioned by the fictional media. In fact, at IMNA we work from the same conviction, no? And that is why we believe that sometimes there are moments or places or cities that are better understood through the stories we build about them. That's why to kind of track this process of experimentation on nature-based solutions that we started in Madrid, we are working on the creation of the Cli-Fi TV series project, which is a television series that draws futures through audiovisual production, no? And based on this process that we started in Madrid. So I guess what I mean and why is important or crucial that we take into account these environmental narratives, no? If we think of the main narratives or the dominant narrative that has accompanied us in the recent months, I would say, of course, is that of the virus, and they are all stories that point to other species in relation to the spread of the virus. But one of the things that I think the context of the nature-based solutions gives us is the opportunity to regard these other species as a shift in how we regard the biodiversity in terms of our cities in terms of health. No, this is what the fixing of our relationship with nature is what Eliane Broom referred as shifting of tectonic plates in our thinking, and meaning that the redesign of our cities, it's not, I mean, we can redesign our cities, we can build new global government structures which are essential, but this won't be possible or won't be effective if we do not change our minds first, if there's no cultural shift. That's why that's why art, fiction, and the narrative strategies such as the ones presented give us the opportunity to include other species in the narrative of healing, of health, safety, and resilience of our species. So regard NBS as contexts of possibility to imagine scenarios where non-human actors have the agency to shape a landscape. Yeah, and that's it from my end. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Amanda. I think we can close now the presentation, and if everyone wants to turn on the webcam so that we can see real faces, even though it's a virtual event. I'm gonna switch. Voila. I don't know if there is any comments, questions, feel free to put it in the room chat or just turn on your microphone and directly address your questions. Yeah, Anna Laura is convinced, I see in the chat. Is there any question, further feedback? Okay, it seems that you were pretty clear in your example. Very inspiring as well. I'm not sure how Basel can implement also this type of solution. And green is not that far in our case. I can see it from the window here. But yeah, something we have to care and keep in our mind when designing new districts or new area, I believe. Okay. Any last word from your side, dear speakers?
No, for me, I mean, after hearing Amanda, it's not something that I haven't heard before, but it's always very refreshing to listen it again. My conclusion will be that nature-based solutions shouldn't be a black box, something apparently exportable and able to make like resolutions out of problems. So for me, it will be rather a question mark. It shouldn't be solutions, actually. For me, it's more important, as Amanda was stating, to formulate the questions of a problem rather than stating the solutions. And also to pose a question on the role, the actual role of nature. No? I was now speaking to my students about these other ecologies without nature, as Timothy Morton states, no? Not everything needs to be green to operate naturally. And yeah, I think we have to be able to delineate other natures, other narratives, as Amanda was saying, which are maybe distant from the romanticized idea of nature that we've been surrounded by. And I think that's a great challenge and a great opportunity to operate collectively in this new domain. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We have actually a question from Anna Laura. You could turn on your microphone, Anna. She really likes the interaction between the artistic and environmental solutions. And she's asking, how is it started? And was it from the artist or from the city? Amanda, it's for you.
Sorry, she's asking for the how it is started, how IMNET started. Yes, so it started from a desire of the three institutions, basically the three institutions that Nieves mentioned, that were the ones fostering the cities platform, which are the City Council and the environmental and mobility area, and the Center for Innovation and Technology for Development at the Polytechnic University of Madrid, the IIT-UPM in Matadero. So basically, the idea was that these three institutions wanted to start a different kind of collaboration, which was more relational, no, and less, let's say, transactional, no, and to think of different ways to approach the climate crisis, no. So they started this platform as not based in a specific projects at first, but based on a way of doing, no, of investigating together. So as an interdisciplinary kind of network that works together. So from Matadero, there was the interest, of course, that the artists could be in the center of these platforms or these processes that were rethinking the city, no? And so it was proposed to create this cyber garden on the spaces of Madero. So yeah, it was a mixture of the three institutions wanting to start a different kind of collaboration, and also Matadero proposing, no, this role of artists, no, yeah.
Thank you very much. There was a comment from Beatrice. I'm not sure you were answering to Ana Lara. Is IMNA an active team? I'm not sure what is IMNA.
Yes, we are.
Okay.
IMNA is the Mutant Institute of Environmental.
The acronyms. Sorry.
Yeah. Yes, we are. We are some curators of well, it's me as a curator in Matadero, and there's a huge team at ITD, UPM, and in the city council as well. Yes, it's an active team. And also the artists, of course, working with us.
Yeah, let your friend know that every year there used to be, well, it has happened, no? That in the last 2 years we have had like open calls for students of architecture and design schools of the city that were actively collaborating in these prototypes. In the first year, in form of these 5 teams, led by 5 different artists, as I showed in my screen, in my presentation. But last year with a film maker, Liam Yang, which was running this workshop in a totally different way, but every year in a very challenging and provocative way. So be aware of the next goals to join, because of course there will be many ways to participate.
Thank you. Maybe if you have a few links, we can send a follow-up email to all participants, actually, on this type of resources, open calls, and to the climate in Basel. If there is anyone here from Basel who would like, or from any other city, actually, who would like to participate. Okay, if this is it, I'm going to close the call.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Again, the recording will be available on the Digitaltage channel. So if someone missed it, the person, you can pass on the information that the recording will be available. Thank you very much, everyone. And I wish you a good afternoon, or I don't know, wherever you are. And maybe see you again at 3 o'clock for the Planning Cool Cities webinar.
Great. Thank you, Celine. Thank you, everyone. Amanda.
Thank you.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.